Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. That's from a guy. He is 34 years old, ex-military, and he shares his story, kind of his life story, how he started off in life as a typical clueless, beta nice guy raised by the single MOM, who incidentally liked bad boys, but raising her son to be a nice guy, to going in the military and being a complete Chad while he was deployed and having fun with lots of ladies overseas, to right back being the nice guy when he was ready for a relationship in college. And how he made the mistake of getting involved with the wrong girl in college, rushing things along, not getting to know her, and learned the hard way. However, you're going to see in this story, our guy learns his lesson, has the last laugh, because guess what? As you've learned so many times, they always come back. And now he's doing very well in life, and still, she's still pining for him, and her life ain't so great. That'll be a very good one to go over here, guys. Kind of a multi-decade journey, if you will, about a guy, about where he's come from and where he started, what he went through, and where he is now. I think a lot of you guys can relate to. And also how it's so important, guys, that during the period of time when you're really establishing yourself in this world, don't get into serious relationships. This guy does exactly that, and this girlfriend, who I mentioned, does everything she can to hold him back, and it's just not a good thing to do. You can always do relationships down the road when you're done all the years going to college or master's for something useful, I hope, or getting your certification or establishing yourself in your career. You can do that shit later on with the knowledge you gained here, but not then, because they get in the way. And how a lot of gals will latch on to a guy in college who looks like he's going somewhere in life, so they can mooch off him. And you all know what I'm talking about there. And of course, they always come back. So this is a longer video today, guys, probably closer to 40 minutes, so definitely get your beer ready. Some good entertainment. And of course, I think I really emphasizes how important it is for guys to have a support group, which I think is why so many of you guys really enjoy this channel and the videos, because you all love commenting on it and chatting with each other in the comment section. So it's worked into a very good thing. He says, Dear SSM, I've been enjoying your content and decided maybe it's my turn to throw my hat in the ring with my story, lessons learned, and some takeaway from everyone to hear. Yes, I did change names just for the sake of privacy. I'll be going over my tragic background that made me a beta male background, my Don Juan Latino Chad moment, then to my beta Bob hard lessons and my current live free era. There's a lot. This guy's going to go through a whole roller coaster of different things that a lot of you guys probably went through or are going through. Some background here. I grew up in the ghetto in South Florida to a single MOM. Yes, we all know what that means, and it pretty much happened. My mother taught me to be the best guy there is. Yeah, and how that worked out for you. I never grew up with my father. Also, he was not the best person there is. He shot at my mother one day while she was visiting her parents. Okay. My uncles thought that was not the safest path for life, so they arranged for my mom to leave the country and sent her to the USA while I was still cooking in her womb. Growing up in the US, my make role models were my uncles. They showed me a few things to be a man. Task-oriented things and skills were put upon me, but I did not have that everyday nurturing from a man to help me become a man. Well, thank God at least you had your uncles. I mean, you could have had nobody, and your mama. A lot of mamas, they certainly try their best. They can love their sons and provide for them and really want the best for many, not all. But a boy needs a man, a male role model. And the right male role model knows what the hell he's doing. And I'm sure your uncles really tried to help out, and that's great they were there. What did not help was that my mother married an abusive man who would throw me into the wall, pee on my bed, etc. What the fuck? Thankfully, there was no S-word abuse. This led me to be a semi-quiet kid in middle and high school with his fair share of romancing. But I was the blue-pilled nice guy because I did not want to be that guy that mom married, then later divorced, thankfully. So let's call it what it is. Your biological father was a scumbag. Mom's attracted to scumbags. The next guy later on she's involved with, who was awful to you and messed you up, was a scumbag. And yet mama raised you to be such a nice guy. Isn't that amazing? She's attracted to those types of guys. So back to the whole part where your mama can love you and provide and all that. But look what she brought into your life. I mean, okay, I'm glad you're here. and she got involved with your scumbag biological dad, so at least you're here, but still, she has a history with this. It's amazing. In high school, after getting burned by a chick, I decided it was time for me to change. I did not leave because of her, but it helped me get pushed. I joined the Army because I did not know what exactly I wanted to do, and did not live in any major city to try out something that I could enjoy. Also, I did not want to stay in a small town of less than 7,000 people where everyone knows everyone's business. It says, in the Army, through basic training and AIT, I started to gain confidence that I did not have while growing up. During my very long military technical school, AIT, I was able to bed a few women in the local scene. I was not willing to get into a relationship because I was 19 and did not have 2 pennies to rub together, either as an E1 then E2. Well, good, because you shouldn't be getting in relationships in the military, but I'm sure those gals that were more than happy to spread those legs for an Army guy in the hopes of a better life. Oh yeah, you got lucky, my man. Also, military bases tend to be right up to the hood, and the women are not the highest caliber when it comes to processing skills. Yeah, no kidding. After almost a year in basic training at AIT, I went back home for hometown recruiting, where you go to help your local recruiting office for half of the day, do whatever you want. I spent around 28 days back home, and the ladies were flocking to me and my most recent ex, but I did not want anything to do with them. I enjoyed my Christmas and New Year's free time with my family. 2 days after the New Year's, I was on a Boeing 747 to the great country of South Korea, where I pretty much let loose. I like he gets out of basic training and AIT training, he comes back, and all the gals are flocking to him. Man in uniform, that's one thing, but two, he can take us away from this shithole. Oh yeah, that's what they were thinking. You ever see Officer and a Gentleman? I think Lou Gossett Jr. was the drill instructor, and he was warning those guys, like Richard Gere and the other ones, about these local girls and stuff like that. And that movie came out like 40 years ago. I haven't seen that in ages. He says, in Korea, I'm going to keep this chapter brief. While I was in Korea, I had the best time of my life with women. Oh, I bet you did, sir. While most guys would stick to the bars right outside the bases, those guys would spend money on the juicy girls, which is akin to strippers. I went out and explored the country when I received my weekend pass. I enjoyed my time with the local women, who were very feminine and nurturing, but were wild in bed. When I didn't receive my pass, I would go out with my friends to the local bars. But I'd be standoffish with the juicy girls, where some of them would invite me to their after parties or make me lunch or dinner. After 15 months, this period of my life ended and went to my next duty station. Sounds like you need to get out of your system, you know? But I'm glad you had the sense that to do more than just bang these hoe bags, Korean hoe bags, that you got out, you saw a part of the country and stuff like that, and you had your fun, bedroom fun and all that. He says, next, the desert. I landed at my next duty station in the U.S. and volunteered to deploy to Iraq. Within 2 months, I was another country being on my toes as we'd wind down our military presence. During those 2 months before going to Iraq, I went back home. The chicks that I didn't give a chance my previous visit were wanting some. Of course they were. Still, did not give a damn about most of them, but I had some fun with one. Then I disappeared to the Iraqi desert. I was there until we properly left the country. Unlike the demented fool that we have as president that backed out of Afghanistan in the most irresponsible way, where I lost several battle buddies, oh, what president could he be talking about? Pour one out for them. During my time in Iraq, we had some close calls, and that kind of made me want to go into a beta Bob phase. But I had to wrap up my Don Juan side. When I returned to the Army post I deployed from, my friends and I were acting like a fool, drinking, racing, and betting women. About 10 minutes after returning from Iraq, I started my process separating from the military. Well, you've had quite an adventure at a young age. To give you a quick recap, I spent 4 years and some change in the military with 3 of them almost locked up. The first year was basic at AIT, where I did not have the ability to visit family and friends, but also they did not take the time to come and see me. Oh, how interesting. You always pay attention to people's actions. Family and friends aren't coming to see you? The second year and some of the third year I spent time in Korea, wrapped the third year, some of the fourth in Iraq. Then my fourth year, I was enjoying my leave days to traveling to the Rocky Mountains because that was something I did not grow up with in South Florida. When I left the military, the only thing I had in my name was my car that I bought after my deployment. I paid up the car in just over 2 years, which I still have to this day. Throughout my time in the military, I used my money to pay for different experiences and help my mother with the bills. I warned her when I was getting out that I was going to cut the support because I'd be going to college to get an engineering degree. Well, you know what? You were a good son helping out your mom, even though your mom, her choice in men and probably other things like that, but you're helping your mama. They made it clear, okay, Mom, I'm taking care of me now. I'm going to school for an engineering degree. This is the downfall of most military guys. After we spend time with our tight-knitted friends that the military had issued you, by issued you, I mean the military gave everyone orders and you were forced to get along. Many became true friends and others forgot their names because they were in a different platoon and didn't cross paths. The thought of going back home was overwhelming. I tried catching up with old friends, but it was different because no one knows your struggles. Yeah, exactly. Everyone continued with their lives, but now I'm going back to zero because I plan to go to college. Well, not necessarily. I mean, you're going back, you're not making the money that you were in the military and having those experiences and traveling the world, but you were sacrificing your time and money you can make in the present to get the engineering degree, so in the future you can have a much better quality of life, better job, career, that type of thing. Most of my friends didn't go to college, so they were living with their baby daddy mamas. I felt that if I went back home to the small town, I might be dragged behind. I decided to move in with my cousin who lived near a major city where I had multiple options for college universities, but it was not in Florida. It's good you didn't go back to where you came from because, yeah, a lot of people go back to where they're from and they get dragged into that lifestyle. That's why a lot of people are resentful of those that leave the place they grew up and that these places that don't have a lot to offer, a lot going on, particularly ones in poverty, and they have the attitude, oh, you think you're better than us, that you're moving away and trying to be like, fuck you, I'm not going to be dragged into your shit. That happens, guys, a lot. It says, after active duty, now I'm in the city with no friends, no true foundation, but I did have a mission. I started at community college to get the gears greased up while doing my reserve duty in that city. I decided to stay in the military partially to have a decent off-ramp. Unfortunately, the reserves is nothing like active duty since your friends are not issued to you. Since we only saw each other once a month for training, there was no effort to build camaraderie. In my mind, I was thinking I needed someone to be with me long term. While in college, I found myself with multiple girls and had my fun. But I wanted someone to be my anchor since the previous 4-ish years was rocky since I had friends who died in the wars. When I thought I found one, I overlooked a lot of the red flags you speak about. I just said, hey, it's the Latina spiciness. Keep in mind, I'm Latino growing up in the ghetto, so I had my fair share. But I tended to date the affluent white girls with waterfront houses or large ranches in South Florida. Bro, I get you're missing the camaraderie of the boys in the military and active duty and all that, but that didn't mean you have to freaking find some chick. And the fact that seemed like finding a chick seemed more important than your mission to get your engineering degree, that's a problem. When a guy makes the girl his mission, and you're still really young. You know, you had plenty of experience at this point, but you were going from Chad to nice guy mode again, and how does that usually work out? I started community college in 2013 while on terminal leave. Terminal leave is when you take your leave days at the end of your military contract, and since I spent most of my time overseas or in training, I had a lot of days saved up where it was months of leave. Even when I was traveling in 2012 in the Rocky Mountains, most of those trips were completed with 4-day passes from the federal and military holidays. At community college, I was mingling with different groups trying to find the next friend group that we can work towards together, the goal of graduating and becoming better people. Here's where I got introduced to her. Let's call her Evelyn. I know how annoyed you get with just letter code names. I get annoyed with those too. I was going on dates and hooking up with girls on campus. Then I ran into Evelyn. We started going on dates, and throughout the following months, and she wanted a relationship. By the end of the summer, we made it official. Of course, she's pushing for a relationship. I mean, you can say, okay, she likes me enough, but then again, I'm guessing obviously you were much older than your average college student. You're probably at least, I don't know, maybe mid-20s, late 20s. That's when these girls are looking to settle down. And you're going for an engineering degree and your military background. That's a nice payday, a comfortable living for a young gal. We gotta be honest about these types of things, guys. We had our differences because she wanted to have fun by going to the amusement parks, hiking, and really was only in college because her parents told her to do it until she found what she wanted. Translation, until she found a guy to latch onto to give her the life she wanted, and then she doesn't have to do shit. I don't like unmotivated women that don't want to do shit. On the other hand, if she's traditional, really wants to have a family, being a loving, supportive wife, I'm okay with that, but it doesn't sound like she's that way. I was going to college on a mission to get my basics at community college and then transfer to one of the local universities to earn my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. By spring of 2015, I was wrapping up my community college life, and Evelyn was getting irritated because I was studying hard. Bitch, this is why I'm here, to make something myself. You aren't the top priority. Problem is, she thinks she's the top priority, and this guy probably gave her the impression she was the top priority. I was taking over 18 hours with the make or break classes from education before transferring to the university. The final semester, my class load consisted of circuit analysis, physics 2, calculus 3, differential equations, chemistry, linear algebra, government, history, and chemistry. Okay, that sounds like my idea of fucking hell. I would enjoy the history classes. I would even enjoy government, but pretty much everything else, no thanks. I'll take business classes. That's what I would take. And business and history, that's what I enjoyed. Most of these classes were extremely hard or time-consuming at the university that I was already accepted. I was accepted by top 75% engineering schools in the nation. I wanted to take it slow at university because by then my health was on the back burner, and I knew it was going to be tough at the university. When I started college, I was 160 pounds at 5'6". When I was finishing my community college, I was 200 pounds by graduation. This is when her true colors started to shine. So this is, my friend, you let yourself go physically. I'm glad you're busting your tail in school so you can make something of yourself, but you can't let your health go, you know? What, 200 pounds at 5'6"? No. What do you think your drill instructor would say if he saw you putting on the pounds? He'd smack you upside the head and make you do some fucking push-ups. Evelyn would get on me for not spending time with her. I'd recommend we go on weekend dates for a few hours, but I needed most of my time to study or work. She would throw a fit because she wanted an entire day or the whole weekend. This is why you don't get into serious relationships in college or when you're trying to make something of yourself, guys, because these gals get in the fucking way and bitch and complain and start drama when you're not. You see what I'm talking about here? She was not the best person to sit at the library to study with, so I cut that out when I felt she was holding me back. I still made time for her in my crazy schedule. Not only was I taking the previously mentioned classes, but I was also interning for an oil firm throughout the week, paid, drilled for the Army 3 days a month, and working at a mechanic shop on the weekends. Man, I respect your grind. You bust your ass. You just should have found out a better way of eating and exercise. You didn't pork up to 200 pounds, but, you know, we can all get off track sometimes, and then she's getting in the fucking way. The BS that I endured is something guys should not go through. My dumbass still proposed to her to tell her that I really want us to work long term. Smack! Don't tell her that. He says, yes, huge smack. It was only 2 years of dating. Fast forward to the week of my community college graduation, she broke up with me. I was devastated because I had been working so hard to get ahead in life, but she found some guy with a nice truck and thought it was worth it. Of course. But you know what? Silver lining here, she's an asshole and she's a user. You know, and she was holding you back. I bet you if you weren't involved with her during community college, you could have busted your ass in the classes and the internship and your military drills, and you would still have time for some exercise and time to cook healthy foods, and you would have bulked up to 200 pounds. Now, this is why I'm telling you guys, during those key years, college for something worthwhile or getting your certification or some kind of skill, don't do the serious relationships. If you want to casually date a little bit, maybe during the summer when school's out of session, you know, just a little practice, you want to get laid here and there and you're careful, fine. But a serious full-blown relationship, these gals want your fucking time and it gets in the way. You can do that later. Anyway, y'all know this, but I got to keep repeating it. Let's see here. My mother flew in for the week because she was happy for me to talk and to meet her. Well, she never met her. So while my mom was there meeting up with other family, and I just faked it until I made it acting nothing was wrong. Graduation came and went, and the summer I spent time just letting the shadow overtake me internally while I just faked a smile with the few friends I made. Shortly after my mom left, I had a medical emergency because everything got to me and I was stuck in the VA hospital for a while. Once everything passed, I just pushed through the rest of the summer. During my summer, I requested more hours at the oil firm, asked for more days to drill where I could, took more hours in the shop, and just drank when I could. I was not dumb enough to drink on the clock, but it was tempting at times. There were a few weekends I did drugs, and I'm not proud of those moments. Smack! Over some chick? God, come on, man. During the summer, I focused on things I was going to do at the university with my new fresh chapter. Well, congratulations, you're now into university. I'm proud of you for busting your ass. But that freaking chick messed you up. Or shall I say, you let that chick mess you up. Right before school started, this one girl from my past partially paid for a trip to California for a booty call. Another asked me to come to see her in Alabama, and made my way to sunny side of South Florida. It revitalized that urge I had, that desire to be better. I researched school organizations I was going to join. After making my long list, I decided what I was going to do. Well, cue the music, they always come back. Of course they always come back, and gee, who could he be referring to? Evelyn came back in my life saying that the guy she went with doesn't treat her right, etc. Of course. And my dumbass took her back. Smack! You bonehead. Oh, like she's going to be any better the second time around? She was probably cheating on you with that guy, then she broke up with you. That's what I think was probably happening when she was out bitching and complaining they weren't spending enough time with her. She made these big promises. Did she keep any? One thing she never did for me was get me a snack or food before the breakup. When I had long days, she said she couldn't even bring me chips and soda because she was not a slave, which was night and day difference from the very feminine women I had in Korea, who would prepare me a meal, present me clothes nicely folded, and pamper me after a night out. But shit, I like those Korean babes. So one of the grand promises she made was that she was going to make me dinner. Spoiler alert, she did not. And just as I started university, she did not want me to join this dance team because she did not want me with other girls, though she did not want to go dancing and didn't care to learn. Yeah, she sounds wonderful. Dude, what the hell? Surely you can get other girls since you're a relationship guy than this witch. Side note, I was in a dance team in middle and high school. My hips don't lie, and that's how I got the Asian girls in Korea. Well, we were together for another year. Okay, man, if you're into dancing, you're a Latino, of course. My white ass couldn't do anything. I can do the robot. That's all I could fucking do on the dance floor. That's about it. I look like the fucking Tin Man. You're not going to see my ass dancing at weddings and doing the fucking electric slide or anything like that. I'll be over in the corner gobbling down wedding cake. But if you like dancing, no problem. During the summer of 2016, she tells me, you should drop out of school and get a real man's job where we can live together and you can support me while I stay at home. Oh, what a great deal. And what a great girl, so supportive of you and your goals. Why are you still with her? Well, that thought rubbed me the wrong way, but your favorite dumbass did not head for the hills. One day we were in my apartment making my favorite dish, and she was in my apartment using my computer for her Facebook and other social media. Aha, she's on social media and Facebook. Shocker. Probably likes a whole lot of attention, probably talking to other dudes. She was looking at food, and that reminded me, and I stated, whatever happened to the grand gesture you promised about cooking me dinner? Her response was that she did not want to because the house would explode. That was like a slap in the face that I needed. I was just like, uh-huh. After that she left, I realized that she left her Facebook on my computer, so I did some snooping. During my snooping, I saw she messaged the guy from the previous year. Oh, imagine that the guy didn't treat her well. Well, she's still talking to him. Who could ever saw that? Whoever could have saw that coming? She messaged him how terrible she feels with me because I am too worried about my education. Oh my God. Remember, this guy, he's working part-time for the oil company, so he's not bringing a lot of dough to spend on her, so she feels mistreated. She wants him to just wrap it up so he can start spending money, she can start milking him. I saw her messages with her other friends about how she was just sticking around to have a good life. There you go. I'm sorry, my man, but it's like if this guy was living his life and we were all watching like a show, we could all see it coming what was going on, but he had to experience it to understand it. I was filled with rage. I took screenshots of her messages, and sometimes later she's back at my apartment and she's frustrated, but she didn't want to talk about it. She was super protective about her phone. I left to the store to get something while she showered. When I returned home, her phone was just there, so I snooped in it as well. While I was snooping, there were her texts with the guy saying that she wants someone that can provide for her now and not later. Little gold diggers. And here's a big question I want to ask. What the fuck does she bring to the table? Really? What? Because she's young? Because she's pretty? Because she's got a body? Well, guess what? All she has to do is squeeze a few puppies out, and I'm telling you, that body's going to be going likely bye-bye. What? Her wonderful personality? Her love? She can't fucking cook. I guarantee she doesn't clean. She's always bitching and complaining. She's not supportive of you. Why the fuck are you with this girl? And I'm willing to bet you anything, you didn't mention it, that you didn't get nearly the amount of action in the bedroom that you probably get with your Korean babes out in the country. No fucking way. This is why I do my channel, guys, and share these stories. And she's cheating on you. So I took the screenshots, forwarded them to myself, and scrubbed my presents. So I texted her something random to have her look at her phone when she gets out of the shower. I told her to check her phone out, and I sent her something funny. I was over her shoulder, and she tried to be secretive when she opened up her phone to see what I sent her. She tried to have me show her my phone, but I told her that I can't no longer because my phone was dead. I just pulled my battery, ha ha ha. Well, when she got her messages, I said, "Why is Bob's name there?" She knew I caught her, but then she tried to gaslight me. Long story short, I got her to reveal everything. Obviously, it wasn't because I knew more than she thought I did. I ended things with her. Hallelujah. I better not hear something else about her coming back again, you taking her back. I'm sorry you had to learn the hard way, bro, but none of us are surprised. I'm sure future you, modern you right now, isn't surprised. Her persistence in trying to keep me was ridiculous. Imagine that. She would come to my apartment at 7 o'clock in the morning every day knocking to let her in. I'd be like, "Bitch, I'm fucking sleeping. Get the hell out of here." I just put in my earphones and drove to school. I found a good hiding spot that was not in the engineering building. She kept crying. She kept wanting closure, creating new phone numbers and emails to contact me. Yeah, she was banking on you being the provider, and surprise, surprise, you dumped her ass. Where was the Chad from fucking Korea in the military when he needed to be here earlier when she came into your life? But you were clearly at that point in your life, you wanted a relationship and to settle, and you rushed into it and picked the wrong girl. One of her messages said, "Babe, we are meant to be together so you can support us three," trying to baby trap me. I always wrapped it and provided my own protection. So that was a lie. Of course she tried to baby trap you. She would leave coupons that I could redeem. These coupons were sex anytime, feet rubbing, dinner on her, and other desperate attempts. God, she's pathetic. She stopped bugging me after some time. That hit me really hard, though. I decided to get in my hoe phase again and not care. Every Thursday night, I'm going out and got wasted, and my grades took a hit. Smack! For God's sakes, man, you're going to let your grades take a hit over her? Because you have to prove something to yourself, go through the hoe phase, and get even, if you will? No. Also, I gained some serious weight. Though I was a fat 240 pounds, I was still able to get some tail with 8s, but mentally not wife material. Good God, so in the military you were at 160, probably solid at 5'6". You're probably working out and everything. Then 200, now 240. Jesus, dude, you need some serious work. And I know you will. I started my healing journey in 2017. I decided to join a music performance group and other school organizations. I still did not take care of my health, but I was a steady weight. In late 2018, when about to graduate from my bachelor's degree, and already got accepted for my master's degree in engineering. She tried to come back into my life. God almighty, they always come back. They always come back if they want something. And they think you're the same dumbass that you were before. But remember, you're the one that finally dumped her. She tried the new email tactic. She emailed me about being on the field for a concert I was in university. I saw the email on my phone and I immediately ran into my friend's house. Then we fast forward to recently. She came up in a conversation about what happened to her. Now she married some guy and was immediately pregnant. Big surprise. This guy that is around my height with similar facial features. The only thing is he's about 300 pounds doing hard labor and living in a tiny apartment. So she likes the big boys, huh? Probably her father's overweight, and her brother's overweight, and her uncle's are overweight. Or also figuring that if I go for these overweight guys, then the likelihood is they're not going to cheat on me because I look better physically than they do or some bullshit like that. A lot of women do not like to be married to guys that are in fantastic shape and other women are attracted to. They like that the women like them, but they're fearful that they'll take those guys away from them. That's why a lot of wives want husbands that have dad bods and all that, because they say they prefer the husbands with the dad bods. No, they don't. It's safer for them. They can have the power. In late 2018, I'm about to graduate from a bachelor's degree and already got accepted a master's degree. She helped me. I read that part, my bad. I don't have much room to speak in the weight department. I did climb up to 275, but after doing Wild Fit, I'm now down to 225. Living a healthy lifestyle with money to burn. Okay, well, I'm glad you're making progress, but you still got a lot to go. 5'6", 225, my man. You still need work, and you can do it. I have faith in you, but I'm not remember, guys, I'm not a registered dietitian, and all things I say here are, entertainment, of course. But if it was me, not that I would get that point, exercise would be a top priority, but most importantly, diet. 80% of it is diet, what you eat, etc., etc. And you can do your homework on figuring that out. You got to get yourself back to a healthy weight, my man. I don't want you to freaking end your life early and have all sorts of health problems. I completely respect the grind, but good Lord. I read this quote from this guy earlier in the week, a successful older guy on YouTube, and he said something like, so many people sacrifice their health chasing wealth. And then later on in life, their health is destroyed. They spend all the wealth they made fixing their health. So I'm glad you're busting your tail on your grind and all that, but you can't let your health go, bro. And that's to all you guys out there. I'm now paying for some debt I incurred in my master's program. Thank you, COVID. Shaking my head. But I'll be debt-free by the end of the year. Awesome. I still find time to enjoy my newfound freedom. And last year, the guys and I took an East Asia trip. I know what that means. This year, we have tickets for an Antarctic expedition. I found some women that come and go in my life, but I don't put much life investment because they have not given me a reason to do so. One almost did. She'd bring me boba tea every night after my last grad class of the day. She'd bring me lunch on weekends while I studied and spend the night at her place to relieve some school and work stress. She was missing the IT factor, but she was a fine 5'11", thin, fit babe, and for now I'm enjoying life. Okay, enjoy life, but don't get any fucking relationships. Not until you're fully ready and you've done your schooling and all that type of thing. This is the story of my life on how us military guys tend to get locked up in bad relationships after losing our friends from war or just moving so far apart you don't have a good foundation. To all the men out there wanting to get better, do not make a woman your end goal. Yep, what I always tell you. When you are on your grind, they will come to you. Being fat doesn't help, but as I'm shedding the weight off, every step is getting better in life with the women. I'll be sticking to my current goals: work, healthy eating, cycling, jiu-jitsu, cycling, and some Pilates. There are plenty of women in Pilates, lol. Good, I'm glad you're busting your tail to lose the weight. But remember, exercise will only take you so far. You gotta have a healthy diet. End of story. And it says now to answer some annoying questions. This section is just random stories and questions that I get. My mom had been on the grandbaby train, but she learned to live with it. She now asked if I fed my babies. By babies, she means my World War II firearm collection. World War II firearm collection. That's cool. She recently started saying that the 30s is the best time for men these days because we have our stuff together. If we have our head up straight, but the single women in that age are not there. Now with my friends. The running joke is that I tend to date women 22 to 25 years old, even though I'm 34 years old now. The late 20s and 30s old women are saying that that's wrong, but yet they haven't left life. There were a few awkward moments when I went on a date with a 19-year-old who's mature for her age, but it is what it is. 34 years old, dating a 19-year-old. I know why you're dating her, but what the hell are you going to talk about? What the hell are you going to have in common with, But that's just me. But we all know why you're dating her. Recently, this 36-year-old chick, let's call her Brittany, was asking what my age range, and I told her I didn't really have one. Bullshit. Her follow-up question was if I wanted kids. I told her yes. She said, okay, so if you want kids, then your max should be 40. I immediately responded, that's not my max then. My max will be low 30s then. And she asked why. And And I said, I need time to vent her. So before I even think about marriage, it will be 5 years. Good for you. You learned. Brittany said, no woman in her 30s will wait that long. You can get away with that if they're in their 20s. You have to call it by 2 years. My response was, well, looks like I will date younger women then. She was floored. Had followed up with how I was a bad guy, and I told her bullet points of the previous story of why I will never fast-track relationships. You can guess how that conversation went by how I stood my ground. Good for you. Yeah, I like that. No woman in her 30s is going to wait that long. Oh, yeah? It's not like these gals in their 30s have the type of guys they want beating down their door. Come on here. There's a reason they're still single in their 30s. Come on. Hope everyone learned from my story. Men, especially military men, find your base of strong men who can help you along. I'm part of a Bible study group made of military and first responders, and it helps. Whether it's spiritual group, gym group, or whatever else that you're into, there's a group of men who are willing to be there and help you out. I do have a list of books for everyone to read. One book is It's Good to Be a Man by Michael Foster. Next one, Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz. The next one, The Father Effect by John Finch. The last book, For All the Men Who Did Not Have a Good Male Role Model. He says, SSM, thank you for all that you put out there. Hopefully more guys that have great stories on how to look for green flags tell their story. Hope you're enjoying Florida. Currently I'm living in a different state, but will try to make my way there eventually, but enjoying my current path. I am most certainly enjoying Florida, but I wish it would fucking rain here. Been here 6 months. It's like, where's the fucking rain? All you guys in South Florida know what I'm talking about here. But my sprinkler system works good, so my yard looks good. But the neighbors, Jesus Christ. But anyhow, I want some fucking rain here. Be careful what I wish for. Next thing is going to be raining all the time. It'll be very difficult to film. Yeah, I couldn't believe there's a dry season in South Florida. Nobody told me before I moved here. Anyway, yes, I'm loving Florida. Bro, thank you for writing in. Good story there about a lot of things to learn, about rushing into things, how they always come back, and those types of things. And I really hope you're doing well. And again, keep on with the exercise, but also your healthy diet. You really want to trim those pounds? It's changing how you eat, But I'm sure you're doing your dancing and things you like to do, along with the other exercise, will help you along your path. But keep it on. Take your time with relationships because you're a relationship guy, and you're going to be all right. So good story, and I appreciate your time. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.